The lies Africans tell themselves. The African man seems to believe that it is his right to have sex with as many women as he pleases for him to enjoy. As a matter of fact, he does not even think that it is wrong to do so. If you ask him why he does what he does, he is likely to tell you that it is his African culture, his forefathers used to have many wives, and that since the white man in his religion now limits him to one wife. He believes it is whites that want him to have one woman. He believes that. And he is not going to be dictated to by whites, so he is going to have as many women he wants. Bring all the women. Now, the whole African continent now seems like whorehouse. That he is somehow gratifying his polygamous tradition and culture by having all the hot girls. This is African culture. The reason, is it really true that in traditional African society, polygamy was the norm? Where is the evidence? Let me speak about my family. My father, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. Those that I knew were all married, each to a woman. I've done a retrospective analysis of my ancestors too, as far back as is possible. They were all in monogamous marriages. At least you think that they were monogamous because they could not afford many wives. Let me quickly tell you that in our village, we are the first family. So what is the point? People in my town, particularly the well-to-do ones, were monogamous. It is therefore a crock to say that polygamy was the norm in traditional Africa. Insofar that there was some polygamy in my town, it was always the riffraffs, the nothing, trying to seem like they are something big by having many wives. Generally, those fellows who married many wives were burned quick and returned to their senses and accepted that one wife is more than enough for a man to handle. In fact, the average man cannot even deal with the wahala of one woman. How much more many women? I am saying that it is not true that we should justify modern Africans' polymorphous, perverse sexuality with so-called African tradition of polygamy. Our traditions were very strict. In my area, if you committed incest, you were killed. If you engaged in adultery, you were ran out of town. No, sir. Our African past was not morally loose, as decadent liberal cultural relativists would like to tell us. Those Africans who have sex with many women have sex addiction. Period. They must accept their addiction and deal with it and stop being in denial. A human being is at his best if he limited his sexuality to one woman, and, in his late 50s, avoided sex altogether and concentrated on spiritual matters. Sex is best limited to monogamy in marriage between a man and a woman. Within this context, sex is best if it is done out of love. Do you love your partner? Do you care for her welfare? Do you see her as a total person? Or do you see her only as a sex object? Is she a sex toy for you? A parlor trophy with which you decorate your house? Or do you see her as a lifelong partner with whom you go through the journey called life on Earth? Sex done in the context of marital love is proper. Sex with different women. Persons one does not love. Persons that one uses to obtain physical attention release a sex addiction. If you pursue sex just to alter your mood, to feel good, you are not different from the chap addicted to heroin. You are an addict, a sex addict. Do you get it, or do I need to stand on my head and say the obvious? Those Africans with several mistresses are sex addicts. They need to be healed of their addiction to a mood-altering drug. The sex drug not like most addicts. However, these folks are probably in denial and need to accept their disease. If you do have sex with more than one woman, please go to a sex addicts meeting and publicly declare yourself an addict. You must tell the world, "Hello, I am James. I am a sex addict." Accept your disease, for there is no healing until the addict stops being in denial and accept his disease in a public forum. Look! There is always a price to be paid for every behavior we engage in. We must restrict our sexuality to monogamous marriages if we want to live healthy lives.